Okay. All right, class, today we're going to take a look at what we call rational equations. Our instructions are we're going to solve. Also state any extraneous solutions. Remember, an extraneous solution is a value that will make your denominator a 0, right? So for example number 1, we have 7 over y minus 3 is equal to 3 over y plus 1. Well, this particular equation is set up in the form of what we call a proportion. And if you recall, in order to solve a proportion, we do the cross products. So I'm going to cross multiply, and I'm going to write down exactly what you're going to multiply so you won't mess up. Cross multiply. Now let's clear the parentheses by using our distributive property. 7 times y is 7y, and 7 times 1 gives us 7. 3 times y is 3y, and 3 times a negative 3 is a negative 9. I need to solve for y, so I'm going to transform the 3y. That will give me a 4y. Transform the 7. Then divide by 4, so my y is a negative 4. Now I'm going to check to make sure that that negative 4 will not make either of my denominators a 0. So if I put a negative 4 here, I'll be okay. Put a negative 4 here, I'm okay. So the solution for this problem is y is equal to a negative 4. Example 2. If I had 8 over y is equal to 3 over y minus 5. Again, this is set up again as a proportion, so let's cross multiply. Multiply 8 times the y minus 5. Multiply y times 3. And the reason I'm writing this down is to make sure that you don't forget to distribute that 8 across everything in that binomial. 8 times y gives you 8y. 8 times a negative 5 is a negative 40. I'll transform the 8. Have respect for that dash in front of that 40. And as I divide by that negative 5, y is equal to a positive 8. And again, check to make sure that that 8 will not make your denominator a 0, and it will not. So the solution for this problem is y equals 8. Example 3. Two x minus 5 over x minus 2 minus 2 is equal to 3 over x plus 2. Now in order to solve this equation, I need to eliminate these denominators. So if I find the LCD for this entire problem and multiply everything by the LCD, I won't have fractions anymore. So my least common denominator for this problem, the only two factors I have, denominators that I have, are x minus 2 and x plus 2. They don't have anything in common, so that is my least common denominator. So I'm going to multiply this entire equation by this least common denominator. Now as I multiply, I'm going to take this least common denominator, multiply times this first fraction. When I multiply, x minus 2 will go into this denominator. That will cancel. I'm left with x plus 2. So I'll take the x plus 2 and multiply it by the 2x minus 5. Then when I come here, I'm going to multiply 2 times this least common denominator. So it'll be minus 2 times x minus 2 times x plus 2 equals. Then when I multiply this LCD times this fraction, I tell students I cover up what they have that's alike. What's left is what I multiplied 3 times, that x minus 2. Now let's simplify. As we simplify, we're going to multiply. X times 2x gives us 2x squared. Here, this product gives me a negative 5x. This product gives me 4x. When I combine, I get a negative 1x. And 2 times a negative 5 is a negative 10. Minus 2 times, well, I have two binomials right here. They have the same exact terms but opposite symbols. Remember, when you multiply this, you'll get an x squared minus 4. Here I get 3x minus 6. As I go back and simplify, I get 2x squared minus x minus 10. A negative 2 times x squared is a negative 2x squared. A negative 2 times a negative 4 is a positive 8. 2x squared minus 2x squared gives me 0. I have a negative 1x here. I have a negative 10 plus 8, which gives me a negative 2. I'm going to transform this 3x to this side. When I do, I end up with a negative 4x minus 2. Transform the 2. I get a negative 4x is equal to a negative 4. Divide by a negative 4, I get x is equal to 1. Now let's check to make sure